feels like 114 outside. Really hot.
114. I always need to convert because
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Well,
we're
what?
live.
Great. Excellent. Awesome.
We got 2 viewers, so let's give them a couple more minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you could make it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is going to be, is this our 12th? Is this the 12th Ellipal giveaway that we've done?
I think it might be the 13th.
Really?
Let me
Wow.
quickly check. No, it's the 12th. Yeah.
It is the 12th, okay. I had to wear my Elastos hat. You know, I've started wearing this thing almost every time that I go out. My wife has even told me, stop wearing your Elastos hat.
That's enough.
Yeah.
It's a nice hat.
I love it, man. I love this thing. I mean, look at
wow.
it. Yeah, this is
really cool.
It's a really nice hat. So. And I just feel good when I wear it out, you know? I mean, just like when I wear an Elastos shirt, you know? I mean,
what about the pant?
Huh?
A pant or a short?
I wish, man.
The whole, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for Vegas Mike. If you're watching this, if you come out with some Elastos pants or shorts, I'll definitely buy a pair.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's coming out with some really nice apparel.
It's impressive. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't know if we want to go ahead and get started.
I mean, I can get started with the giveaway. You know, if you think.
Yeah, I mean, either way, this will be recorded, so people can always watch it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can get started.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so I am at my #1 most visited website in at least in the last 4 months, Noderators.org. I'm going to the Get Ellipal giveaway promo right here. And so under the Ellipal giveaway selection, I'm going to download the most current voters list. Okay. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Here we go. We now have 726 voters that have voted for both Noderators Champagne and Watermelon. So thank you to everybody who's supporting us. We really appreciate it. Now I'm going to the very bottom here. I personally have been very impressed with the percentage of voters because you see now it's over 26% of Elastos are now off of the exchange and locked up for DPoS. So that's it's a very high number. So I'm really happy with that. So here I am at the random picker here. I put in all the addresses and we're ready to find out who the winner is. 3, 2, 1. And the Noderators Titan winner is right here. If this is your address, I will I'm going to drop this into the chat right here.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So that way you can see what the address was. Congratulations. You have won a new Ellipal Titan, and if you contact any of the Noderators moderators, we'll be happy to help you out.
Noderators, moderators. That's a mouthful.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. Now, Adam, so what we really wanted to talk to you about was Unity and what has been going on with you lately. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on the channel today. It's really a big pleasure and an honor to be here. So where to start? I just start, and you guys just stop and ask questions,
sure.
or depending on how it goes, if that's fine for you. Well, the person that really started the project is also here with us today. So Kiran is actually the one who really started the whole thing.
Oh, that's great.
And I really like how it started, because that was my first step into Elastos and into Elastos Unity at the same time. It was not called Unity at the time, but I remember KP sending a post on Reddit. I think it was under the React Native subreddit, and asking for developers if anyone was interested in a blockchain-related project. So that's how it all started, and it was almost a year ago. Actually, almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And so that's how I joined. And we started at the time. We were still quite a good team, around 7-8 contributors. Very big project, very ambitious, and I really liked it from the beginning, really. And the idea is so what is React Native? So React Native is a JavaScript framework that helps developers create mobile applications using JavaScript programming language. So normally, if you would like to start with an app, you would need to work with Objective-C or Swift programming language for iOS, and something completely different, Java or Kotlin for Android. But here, the best thing about React Native is that you can use JavaScript and generate an app for both platforms. Yeah. You can still use platform-specific code, but like more than 90% of the code can be shared between the two platforms, and even more if you don't have any native code requirements. You can have the whole app with React Native, with JavaScript, and the same app just builds for Android and iOS. Mm-hmm. So how it started was that KB wanted to build a React Native framework for Elastos. So the idea, so we have all these different parts of the blockchain of the Elastos project, be it a career, wallet, DID, and also Hive coming now. And we wanted to let React Native developers use Elastos in their React Native apps. And for that, we needed to create this framework, because the projects themselves, so different parts of the project, are usually written with C or C++ programming language. So these are low-level programming languages, and it makes sense to program libraries with such languages. They are much better for this specific part of the project. But then it means that you cannot use them directly in JavaScript. So you cannot just download the SPV C++ library and use it as is in your mobile application. Yeah. So you need to create this communication system that is called bridge. So you have a bridge between JavaScript and the native library itself. So that was the main idea, and we started, I think at the beginning, just correct me, Kiran, if I'm wrong. So it was the foundation that was taking care of the project until the end of the year. And then we learned that at the end of the year, we would stop the project, at least at the time being, that was the plan. And that's how we've come to an alpha release of the project, where we had actually functional bridges for the wallet and the carrier. So what it means is that people could access the wallet and carrier functions from JavaScript directly.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
And then we had a few months, nothing for a few months. And at the time, Kevin Zhang from the council, so he was in the council at the time, he contacted us again, and he was just asking how the project was going. And I don't know, I never had, so I was then, by the time I was into Elastos a bit more, but I never had this intuition to go to check the proposal or to write a proposal about it. It was just, I don't know, I just didn't feel like doing it. I was not like, I didn't feel like I'm the right person to do it. And Kiran told me at the time that he was going to be, and he was already quite busy, and that I could write something if I'm really interested into it. And then I just took the opportunity. So started drafting something with the help of Kiran a lot, because he already prepared a lot of things before. So writing documentations, like nice graphs and everything are still on our original GitHub repository. And I also asked a bit Kevin, so what you guys are really looking for in such projects. It was really my first proposal for the CR. And in the end, we had this proposal written and accepted by, I think it was in May, March, April this year. So the idea is that we had this proposal approved to write a functional package for the carrier and the wallet, with all the functions accessible from JavaScript. And we are almost done. So we had two big phases. The first one was the beta release with all the functions and everything properly implemented. And the release candidate, which we are working now, was putting the website, proper documentation, and the command line interface. So that's where we are now. And I can announce it today. ElastosUnity.com is live. So
Great.
you guys can go check it out. It's still under development in the sense that we were working also with a designer. So now we have a proper website where, I mean, it's not a lot, but at least we have all the links to the documentation, to the different GitHub repositories. It's still under development, but at least we have a proper website now, and you can check a bit more there what's going on. There is just one thing that has to be clear here, is that Elastos Unity itself is not an app by itself, right? So this is just a core part of an app that would communicate with the Elastos blockchain. So what we will hopefully see in the future is several, hopefully mobile dApps made with Unity or powered by Elastos Unity. Because what is really good with React Native is just you start with this from scratch. It's just 2 command lines, and you have a ready-to-go mobile app with a simple screen. And there, with 2 commands, you can just npm, which is a package manager for Node. You can just npm install Unity Wallet and Unity Carrier, and then you have all you need to use Elastos in your app. You have all the functions: create a wallet, generate a mnemonic, communicate with the blockchain, send a transaction, sign a transaction. All these kind of functions are available right away to the developers, so that they don't need to deal or to think anymore about, oh, is it difficult to integrate Elastos or the wallet or the carrier in my app? No, you can have a weather app, and with a command line you can just integrate the carrier, I don't know if you need it for anything, in your app, and start using it right away.
before you go any further, for people who are not familiar with the differences between Elastos Unity and Elastos Trinity project, could you go ahead and explain that?
Yeah, I think at some point you had a very nice explanation on Telegram, so I will again relate to it. So the main difference. So first of all, I mean with both, and correct me if I'm wrong. So with Elastos Trinity, which JavaScript framework was it again? Ionic? No.
Yes.
Ionic. Yeah. So it's again you use also JavaScript, but the big difference is that with Trinity you also get the proper Elastos runtime that is really running with your app. So you're really, in terms of security protection, that's where nothing can from the outside access your Trinity app, because you're running the proper runtime with your app. Whereas with Unity, we are talking about a framework. So in terms of differences, so first of all, you don't have the runtime with Unity. Basically, it's just simple calls to existing functions. So you can create a wallet. You can have a wallet made with Trinity or with Unity. But the big difference is that with Unity, it's going to be like a layer on top. It's just simple communication with the blockchain, or the carrier, or hopefully in the future also the ID and Hive. So that's the biggest difference. What I really like about React Native in general, not only Elastos Unity, but React Native in general, is the native feeling of the mobile app. So there are a lot of big companies. So if you just go to you just Google React Native, and on their main page, they have a list of companies using it. Well, actually, it's a project from Facebook. So Instagram is made with React Native. That's the biggest example. I think that a lot of people would know. So yeah, I think the runtime is really the main thing here, the biggest difference.
Right. I guess to add on to that, basically, if you look at the major difference between Elastos Trinity and Elastos Unity, is that Trinity is actually a browser that people download. So it's similar to a Google Chrome browser or Safari or whatever. So when you download Trinity browser onto your phone, whenever it's available, you are downloading an actual browser, right? And then when you go to that browser, then you can actually install different applications inside that browser. Whereas with Unity, it's actually a framework that developers can use to develop their native applications, native-like applications. Because with Trinity, the applications that will run in Trinity are very special in nature, because those applications which run in Trinity will probably not run anywhere else. So you're not going to be able to run it outside of Trinity, because it is very specifically designed to work with Elastos runtime, and that Elastos runtime is part of Trinity. Whereas with Unity, first of all, it doesn't have runtime, because it is not a browser, it is a framework. So developers can utilize that framework to develop their applications using React Native, so that they can target their applications to Android, iOS, and whatever else React Native runs on. So that's how I would I personally, I think that's a really good way to differentiate between those two things, so people don't get confused. But yeah, go ahead, continue.
No, that's perfect. Thank you. And so the apps that you would make using Unity would be available on the standard app stores, so on the iOS and Android app stores to be downloaded. But you won't have this kind of protection that you would have within Trinity. So here it's a standard app. You have still communication with the HTTP, HTTPS layers, at least for now, because I remember your initial to do the plan, Kiran, that you wrote. You also had this dream of having a similar system with React Native, with this mini dApp system that you could also install. So that should be also, I think, interesting in the future, depending on how the project continues, because I really like the idea, and also add an extra layer of protection and security.
So will different DApps that are running on Unity have access to different types of like DID or utilizing any type of sidechain? Would they have different access to different features of Elastos?
Yeah, so the main thing with Unity is that we depend a lot on the available APIs or SDKs, so what is already there.
Right.
We didn't create anything from scratch. For example, what we did is there is an SPV C++ library, so for a simple wallet system, which has a number of functions for Elastos wallet. For example, create wallet, or generate mnemonic, or a function like is an address valid. And what we do here in Unity is take these functions and create bridges so that we can use these functions from JavaScript. So in that way, developers don't need to go down to C or C++ to be able to use Elastos. Because, I mean, C and C++ are very specific languages and actually considered quite difficult. I mean, it's really for core systems that you use C or C++. On a user interface layer, you use different programming languages. And more recently, it's really a JavaScript boom, be it on the front end and with Node.js on the back end. So now JavaScript is used everywhere, mobile, desktop, server. So that's why I think it brings a lot of advantages to the mobile side. And we can also use all existing JavaScript libraries if you want to make a mix of an app with a bit of information from, I mean, there are a lot of libraries around, be it Bitcoin, Ethereum, JavaScript libraries, I mean. You can combine them, in addition, add the Elastos. So it's more on a higher level, I would say, not at the core itself. But yeah, so far we have wallet and carrier functionalities. So you can use wallet and carrier in your React Native app.
Okay.
And hopefully, depending on how it goes, we would also like to implement Hive and DID.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man.
That would be great. Yeah, that would.
And even just having wallet access is a really big deal, you know, because you want to be able to, when you develop a DApp, you want to be able to, you know, to make transactions and be able to, you know, trade these things.
Exactly. You could build an app, an e-commerce app, a standard iOS e-commerce app using React Native. And on top of that, you can use the wallet package that we just made and allow people to pay with ELA, for example. Yeah, that's more like some blocks that you could put together. It's different modules that you can use. You don't have to use all of them. If you need only wallet, you take wallet. If you need only carrier, you take carrier. So that's how it's going now. We are almost done with the first phase that would have a complete wallet and carrier integration. And the thing we are struggling the most at the time is testing. So we have this continuous integration system. So the idea is that you create an app from scratch, you install the package, and then you test the different functions to see if they works properly using a service like Travis, so cloud computing services. And there it's really difficult to do testing on mobile apps because you use the simulators and it has to start at the correct time and run the functions properly and this kind of things. That's one of the biggest struggle we have at the moment.
Yeah.
So in terms of next plan, what I would love to see, so once the project is clean and ready to be used, I'd like to bring some React Native developers around so that they can start building things with Unity. I've started myself. I worked with a very simple wallet for Elastos, let's say yet another, I don't know, but it's just wallet that I've been working. Actually, it's already a few months.
Oh, okay,
that I'm
great.
into it. I cannot promise anything. It's really time consuming, so I don't know if I will make it to the end. But at least I have a demo version working, and you can really just install the Unity wallet package and start communicating with the blockchain, sending transactions, seeing your list of recent transactions, this kind of things, generating QR codes for your wallet. And
that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. I wouldn't mind, doing a little bit of testing with that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'll start to get a small group around for beta testing, because that would be good. It makes sense to start having some apps made with Unity around. So the plan is to finish the project. We're really at the final phase now, and then I would like to start a few months to take a few months to put a few things around, like real apps made with Unity available on the iOS and Android app stores.
Yeah.
Even very simple app. I'm always giving the example of a weather app. I don't know why a weather app would use such a system, but why not? I mean, just very, very simple app, with which will have part of it using the Elastos ecosystem with the existing modules we have already, and hopefully using this as step forward to write a new proposal for Hive and DID, because I think these two modules are really, really important as well, and I would love to see them integrated in Unity.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we want Java developers to be able to take advantage of everything that Elastos can offer.
Yeah, JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, great work.
Yeah, sure.
That's really exciting. Yeah.
So if you have any questions or things that were not clear, because I know the biggest struggle that we will have would be really to distinguish so that Unity itself is not an app. There is no Elastos Unity app on the different app stores. It's really a tool for developers, but it's just a tool that hopefully will be very useful, because React Native, so this tool to make easier apps, is taking, it's used more and more. So I really believe that this framework itself would be very helpful for future apps that will come to the different app stores.
I do have one question, Adam, and it's if somebody is looking for an application that's utilizing Unity, are they going to find this application in the App Store? And maybe they don't even know that it's using Unity? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's the thing. So what you can do is just make an app with React Native. I don't know. I mean, e-commerce, chat, or I don't know, any kind of app that you could think of that is today available on the App Store. I don't know. We can take any example. Instagram, okay? It's made with React Native and it's available on the App Store. If at some point Facebook just wants to integrate a payment system using Elastos on Instagram, they really just need to go install the wallet module for Elastos Unity Wallet, and they have all they need to allow Elastos payment within Instagram. Okay. And actually, the app itself will still be available in the different app stores. Like you will just get a new upgrade. Oh, Elastos payment system included in the app, just a new version of the app, an upgrade, which will include this new system. So that's really normal standard apps that we are used to see every day that could integrate these different modules, like just a simple block that you would add to your existing apps.
And is there a way that by running some of these D apps that are utilizing Unity, that they could also act as a carrier node?
That's a good question. I don't know, maybe Kiran, if you can help me here, but I don't know, already in terms of running a node on mobile, plus I don't know if it's, I mean,
yeah. So
using the library itself, could you do that? I don't know.
I mean, could it be
usually,
for the temporary time frame that you're using this D app?
no, because there are two kinds of carrier nodes. One of them is bootstrap nodes, which the super nodes run. Those bootstrap nodes are what the carrier library connects to. So like whenever
Correct.
React Native is calling a carrier API, like to add someone or message someone, it's connecting to one of these bootstrap nodes, and then trying to find these, the other user who has that, that app or carrier node installed. So that's how they communicate with each other. So when you implement this API onto your app, it's not actually running anything. You could technically say it is a node, but it's not doing anything other than interacting with the carrier network.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's really not. It's not running a blockchain or running anything properly on your mobile phone.
Oh yeah.
It's really function. So that's what I meant by we didn't invent anything. We really have to rely on existing tools that the core team prepared already. So it's just simple calls. So it's basically a communication. It's in and out. There is nothing properly running. The app itself is running on the smartphone, but there is nothing Elastos related that is running on the smartphone, at least with Unity. That's That's why I like to say that it's more on a higher level. It's just a simple communication system with the blockchain.
Yeah. Also, you probably don't want to be running any kind of node on your mobile device because it will drain your battery really quickly.
Probably significantly, right?
Yeah. That's the reason why even if even the Hive, like whenever or if we implement Hive on Trinity or Unity, then it would just be talking to the Hive nodes that are out there, and it would not be running a Hive node. It would be talking to a Hive node. So similar to how the SPV wallets work, where you're not actually running any blockchain node to interact with your wallet. It's just interacting with these nodes that are all around the world. It works the same way. So all these nodes are running somewhere else, and all you're doing is you're just interacting with them and then using the functionalities that are provided.
Yeah, and the security and your DID for verification. Yeah. That's great.
I would really love to see DID next. I know Hive is still under development, and I would love to see DID also implemented soon. So I see a lot of use cases for DID, because for now what we have wallet and carrier. So what you can do with wallet is either implement an alternative wallet, something new, different, or use the wallet module for a payment system that you have on your app, and carrier for communication system. But I really believe in DID, and I think that the DID module would be a great asset for Unity.
Yeah, it's not just about the payment, because that can be implemented. I think the DID, what it brings is a way to secure users' data. So, instead of having like a Facebook login, you can have on your application a DID login, so that your user is authenticated using the blockchain technology. And then when you want to store your data, you can store it on Hive, which is encrypted, and you can make it so that only you or the user whose data it is, only they can access it and no one else can. There's a lot of things that you can combine, and then create a really nice application that is free from any centralized control like many of the apps of today, and it's very, very secure compared to most of the apps today, because there are no intermediaries, because everything is decentralized. So I think that's the once everything is implemented, I think Unity or Trinity, or maybe even there will be another framework that someone else will start. You can easily mimic something that the Unity team has done with React Native. Instead, they can do the same thing with other frameworks like
Flutter
or PHP frameworks, whatever there are out there. There's a lot. You can. It's just a matter. All you're doing is you're porting the libraries to work with other programming languages, so they can work on other platforms, and you have access to the vast ecosystem that they provide. So, when it comes to Trinity, you have to be able to develop in Ionic. But what if I don't want to learn Ionic? Well, then I can't develop for Trinity. So then if I am really good at React Native already, then I can use Unity. Even if they're not the same thing, at least I have access to all the features that Elastos, Carrier, like DID, all these things provide. So that's why you're not really redoing the same thing, but rather you're expanding it so that it's anyone who's familiar with any programming language can just come in and jump in and be able to develop their applications using any framework.
Yeah, expanding is really the keyword here, and that's what I think makes a project great. If you write a project, you only have C++ libraries, and you are a normal developer. I consider myself a normal developer. I would like to start with something more high-level programming language. So if I have available packages in PHP, JavaScript, in Python, for example, I'm also using Python a lot, it would be much easier for me to start integrating Elastos in my either existing apps or something that I can build very fast from scratch, because I know how to deal with Python. So it would be much faster than if I have to learn a new programming language, just learn a new system on how it works. So that's why it doesn't look like concrete. I mean, you don't see anything today with Unity right away, but these are things that needs to be around if we want to bring more developer, and more developers meaning more dApps, and just bringing all the thing together.
Right. Yeah. With something like Unity, once everything is stable and DID Hive is available, what we can do is reach out to React Native developers who are not familiar with blockchain and be like, hey, if you want to learn blockchain and if you want to develop your blockchain applications, here you go. Here's a library. So that way we can reach other developers pretty easily that way.
Yeah, definitely. Because personally, so I'm a lot into blockchain plus mobile development, and I really believe that the mass adoption, or that we are all dreaming about, would definitely come via the mobile platform.
Right.
So that's what we are using in our day-to-day life, and the day we will have an app that people are using every day, maybe even without realizing they're using Elastos, that's going to be a big day.
Wow.
I think all these tools all together, that's what makes possible the creation of this kind of apps. We need all these tools if we want developers to create proper apps using Elastos. That's clear.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to using my first Unity D app on my phone.
Yeah.
So for the viewers out there, what kind of time frame do you think that we could be looking at for our first Unity D app?
Well, Unity itself, so we are now September almost. I think we still have 1 month of work. I mean, the work itself is done. The packages are already there. You can, if you're a React Native developer, you can already start using the NPM package that is already available. we're just struggling on writing these different tests for the continuous integration. But if there is anyone interested already with the different modules, it's there. And the documentation is there. You have all the functions documented. You can start using the different modules. But then the day when we will see the first tab on the App Store, that also depends a lot on the different developers, who is working on what, for what purpose. But personally, once we are done with the release of Wallet and Career for Unity, I'd like to take some time and think of a few ideas that I could put there. It can be something really, really simple, but just something on the App Store, really using Elastos Unity. Just focusing on the UI, UX, and I don't know, it can be a simple generator of something, or an address generator, for example. Very simple, but just, you know, to have something concrete and just to see that it works on people's smartphones. So it's something real. It's not a test. It's something that really works, that you can already integrate in your real house.
Like a calendar app that keeps your appointments private. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something real simple, but something that you know, obviously millions of people use on a daily basis.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So, KP, did you have anything else that you wanted to close out with, or? Thank you so much for everybody tuning in, and congratulations to our Ellipal winner. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Adem. Had a great time.
Thank you guys.
Talking about Unity with you.
That was really cool. Thanks. Bye bye. See you around.
Bye, Adem.